Great, guys. We are reading this book, a book called The Compound Effect. And there's so much learning, so much things I've been learning about it, right? The first thing what we learn in this book is that it is not necessary for you to be a very smart, intelligent person. It is all about, if you put effort of 3 to 4 times, you'll able to achieve anything wanted, right? The second thing what we learn about small choices on a daily basis, plus the consistency, plus over the period of time, you will able to create a form, a habit, which eventually lead you and bring a compound effect on that, right? So that is the third thing we learned about. We also learned about, which last time Amal talked about nicely, about why versus willpower versus the why power, because a lot of time we think, hey, आपके पास willpower नहीं है, you don't have this, you don't have that, but the learning is the willpower is important, but why power is more important, right? And that's pretty great example, about it. And then also I talked last time about who you become while process of achieving goal, because it's matter about you, it's matter about your daily choices, it's matter about your behavior, it's matter about action. And over the period of time, if you do same thing again and again, what happens is that through time, the compound effect will work there and you'll able to achieve the goals. And that's the reason I made a video. It is little long, but great. So how is everybody doing, by the way? So as of now, we have read this. Great. And what we will do is that I'm really excited to see all of you. Today we have 15 people login. Maybe 3 login would be from my home itself. So that's fine. But we are absolutely excited to listen, hear from you, learn from your experience. And I'm also excited to equally share. In fact, I and Dhruv is going to talk about the same topic, and we both will going to give our own perspective, right? And right. So let's go ahead as usual. I can see Vikas also has joined. So Vikas, good evening. And as usual, guys, you have to raise your hand, and then you can go one by one and speak about it, and share your your input, your learning. And I'm eagerly waiting to hear some of your examples, some of your learning, and it will be really exciting. So okay, I can see a couple of hands are already raised. Correct. So okay, so over to Dhruv first. Dhruv has raised first hand. Okay, so let's go to Dhruv.
Opening batsman.
Yeah.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Dhruv, and I'm going to be talking about the chapter called Acceleration from the book The Compound Effect. So basically, from this chapter, I'm just going to tell the main thing which I learned, and that's anyway, his dad will tell everything. So even if I miss something, he has his own perspective, and it's always great to listen to him. So he will cover everything. And yeah, so basically, my main point which I learned from the chapter acceleration was to push your limits. So if you see the story of Lance Armstrong, which the author gives an example in that, he pushed his limits to climb the mountain. So there is a really famous cross country race called Tour de la France, means the Tour of France. So it's basically around like the edge of France or like center of France. So it's like tour which you need to cycle through. It's like a race in which you need to cycle all across France. So basically, it tells that in that race that there were many professional mountain climbers and many like high people and like not high people but like very professional mountain climbers who have climbed really tall mountains and stuff. So basically what the author tells is during a particular point where like the mountains are really high and steep, over there Lance Armstrong gets separated from his team. So basically he goes ahead because his team can't keep up, and it's like a series of 5 to 6 mountains, and like the first 4 or 5 mountains he's behind everyone, but then he keeps pushing even though his muscles are sore, even though he's completely tired, even though he wants to give up there then and there. He keeps pushing and eventually he catches up to the professional mountain climbers, and then he goes ahead of them. And then the other mountain climbers are like, how is he able to go ahead of them? That is because he's not giving up. He keeps pumping, he keeps going, slowly increasing speed and using tactics and stuff. So that is what the author was saying. You need to push your limits. Like for example, when you hold ice in your hand, after some time it pains a little, but after a particular point, the pain will just stop. Like you won't feel pain, like because you're used to it. You're pushing, after you push that limit, after you cross that limit, it won't pain at all. Same thing happened with Muhammad Ali, the boxer. So another example is given. He versus another person, like another boxer, who defeated two people who defeated Muhammad Ali. So basically, it's a story of four people. Muhammad Ali lost against two people whose names I don't remember, and then a third person. So that third person defeated the two people who defeated Muhammad Ali. So basically, everyone was like, Muhammad Ali cannot win this fight, no matter what. But still, he pushed his limits. So basically, he made a proper plan, he strategized, and he eventually won. His plan was to like stay against the ropes and like block all the punches for the first 7 rounds. And after his opponent is exhausted, he will smack. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about, and basically like just about pushing their limits. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Very nice, Dhruv. Wonderful. Do we have the clapping ready today? Or we need to clap? Probably Amar will take some time, but he's our technical team guy. But anyway, so great, wonderful, Dhruv. Very good example. Uh, we will go with the Suchitra. Next, Suchitra, you would like to say her? And other, I will request if you read already, please raise your hand so I can call, or you can go after Suchitra. Yes,
Okay.
Suchitra.
Yeah. Thank you, Akash. And thank you, Dhruv, for giving a trailer, because Accelerator is the last chapter which I have not completed. So it was like a good trailer for me to go and read that page. The first thing I want to tell is like this is one of the books we completely as part of this book club. Because other books and all I could not finish it on time, and now this book I'm able to complete it. One of the things that some of the policies or some of the principles that this book tells about of having developing small habits every day and the compound effect it has. So I can see it with this book itself, wherein initially I was like taking that 5 minutes out and reading a single page or 2 page or reading for 10 or 15 minutes. It was, I mean, it's an easy thing, I can do it, but somehow I was giving the reason like, okay, I do not have time to read the book and all those things, or I'm busy with today, I couldn't do it. But with this book, what I felt was like, yeah, I mean, it's like we always complain about things that is not possible, but we always say that I'm not doing it because of this work. So when they are talking about installing good habits, he says talk about addition and not subtraction. And when completing this book, that's what I felt. It is like reading is the addition, I'm doing it, and it is like I need not do it by subtracting some activity to get this in. So this is one thing which I learned. And another thing is like how to develop the good habits, where they say that publicize what is the goal you want to achieve. And sometimes when you say it aloud, right, even if you're not tracking that goal, there are people who will be like, did you do that one? Did you finish that work? That happens. And yeah, I just tell to my family members saying that, okay, I want to finish this 10,000 per day. And it is like my son comes, Amma, did you finish 10,000? Like, okay, I finished 10,000. So those one tip which I have taken. And then, having a success buddy. And many times when you have a success buddy and when you talk to them, right, you do understand. I mean, many times you think that they might not be able to give you some ideas, but yeah, you will get some ideas from their different perspective of things. And it is always good to share things out with your buddy. So that's a good idea. And the competition and camaraderie. So now I was talking about this 10,000 step, right? So one of the things is like, I'm again a part of one of the group of Sarvana, where everybody puts 10,000, 11,000, 15,000. I'm like, okay, I have to do the 10,000 one. It's like, no matter what, today, before the end of the day, I have to finish 10,000. So that competition or the camaraderie that happens, right? That motivates us to move towards our goal. And at the end of the day, the celebration is the most important thing. And when you celebrate it after doing some goal, it's so wonderful, no matter how small is the achievement. But then it is like that, even if you eat one chocolate, right, after that it feels so very satisfying. So In that term, this is a very good book I have read as part of the book club, and I would like to thank you for selecting this book, and I could apply some of the principles in my life. Thank you.
Wow. How much? Amar, you have rights? You know, we all are in virtual world, right? Somehow we have to fool our mind, right? So Amar was kind enough to figure out a way to bring the clapping music. And I say, oh, why don't you play every time? And that's bring another excitement, right? So we can clap, but still that music is totally different, right? So we clap along the music. Okay, great, wonderful. Yeah, absolutely, Suchitra. The things what you're talking about is that you are going and pushing to the last limit, making sure you're not giving, right? So of course we will cover in escalation, but I see Arvind has raised a hand, so probably request Arvind to go ahead with his sharing, and then after that Amar and others, please raise a hand if you're going to speaker today. All right. Yeah.
So I will take. Thank you, Akashi, for giving the opportunity, and I really appreciate Suchitra. She covered a very nice point that you should have a success buddy with you. I am also I also feel very thankful that I have a success buddy with me from past couple of years, from whom I can share everything, and which help us to grow actually. Okay, every year, every time, whenever we are in need or whenever we need actually. So I will share a little bit of learning. I have still little behind, but I will share about the choices which I was reading. So it's really wonderful book, where in the first paragraph only clears that whatever we are, it's because of the choices we make. Okay, and if you give a thought, if I give a thought, I am in Bangalore, why I'm working in the where I'm working, and what I did today, and where I'm progressing, it's all because of the choice which I'm making actually. It is always with me that what I can do, nobody's forcing me to do. It's every time it's the choice which I make. It is making me go ahead either towards the success or towards the opposite end. So here the author speaks about a very good thing actually about the Thanksgiving part, where he says that he gives an example where he asked his friend to write a thank you message in a note, in a diary, for his wife. Okay, every day, one day, what he likes about his wife to work, because his friend was always complaining about his wife actually. And once already the author has practiced it, and when his friend practiced, the relationship between his wife and him and the friend changed actually. The friend's wife and the friend changed actually. It became opposite, where the complaining mode came to the acceptance mode, and he started appreciating about him, about his wife actually, and which was a very good topic. And it comes not only with wife, it comes with many people's, in what we see all around. Many people, we start seeing negative in people's, which is always not correct actually. Okay, and we can change the perspective if we start practicing this. Yeah, with wife always it is valid, or with spouse I can say we always do it, and it's a good learning to implement actually. And the good thing what he said, that after the end of a year, there was a journal ready which he shared with his wife, and which made both of them very happy actually. They became a happy family. And the second thing and third thing which I like was about the 100 by 0 percentage. Okay, what we should do. So the author was asked in a seminar that how much should be our percentage actually, to maintain a response to maintain a relationship actually. And people gave different percentage as an option, as an answer: 80 20 51 49. And there in the seminar, the speaker says that it should be 100 by 0. And really it is great if we accept that. If we accept that always, whatever we are doing, I am responsible 100% for that. Okay, the perspective only changes, the way of thinking only changes. If I make myself 100% responsible for any of the task, and don't depend on anyone, okay, always the output will be in positive only, and we will get a good output actually. So this was one of the learning, and the third was about the getting lucky. Okay, so very clearly, author says that lucky is nothing but the preparation and the attitude and the opportunity and the action. When it combines, it all becomes a luck actually. Okay, so never a show can be done like Akash runs a Readingnation. It cannot be like by luck. It can run and so smoothly and so there is an action put behind it. Okay, and there is a preparation went behind it, which makes it every week it makes it a successful actually week to run it actually. So these were a couple of learnings. Yeah, I am catching up with people, so I will learn more and I will study more and I will share with everybody next week. Thank you.
All right, that's nice. Yeah, actually, harder you work, the luckier you become. Anyway, okay, over to you, Amar. Please go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, everyone. So, hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Akash and Shilpa. So, today I'll talk about the chapter habit. And I think Suchitra talked about 5-6 different techniques of instilling good habits. And I'll share about 5 strategy about eliminating bad habits. So that's just a reverse, and which author also talks, which is almost like similar thing, but reversing what Suchitra talks. So the first thing is very simple, is about knowing the triggers. Knowing the triggers, that what is the trigger to start that bad habit. It can be what, it can be where, it can be when, it can be people also, it can be who. So these are the 4 things which can trigger anything. Like if someone knows that he's a smoker or he's a drinker, and if he wants to stop it or he wants to eliminate it, he needs to understand when does this trigger happens. Is it like a Friday night, Saturday night? It can be with some group of friends. It can be it means it can be a place. So he needs to see those triggers and accordingly start avoiding those triggers or eliminating those triggers. So either it's not like really that it means that you have to stop meeting with those friends, but then there are a couple of things. With just meeting does not mean that the person will drink or the person will smoke, but there can be other circumstances. So we need to see about it. First, be aware about that trigger. What is that trigger? What, who, when, and where. So that's where he or she can start thinking about it. Then comes the second thing, is about once the trigger is known, then how about cleaning the house? That's the second thing which the author talks, clean house, which means, okay, even if I come back again with the same example, so we know that friends cannot, the bars are anyway closed, you cannot go out. So then at least don't keep it at home. That is the simple thing, because if you keep it at home, then obviously the drink will come. So that's the simple example of cleaning the house. And if it is there, either throw it or give it or charity it, whatever you can do, something like that. So cleaning the house, that is the next step about eliminating bad habits. And then comes the third thing, is swapping. So because if like this, the weekend is a long weekend, Friday also is there, Friday night is also there, Saturday night is also there to enjoy. So how about swapping? And the first simple swapping would be maybe move it, and instead of that, have some energy drink, some lemonade, some other thing which is much more healthier, or maybe at least start with Coke itself. At least it's better than a alcoholic drink, to be sure, and then maybe move to from Coke to lemonade or something else. So that is the swap in. So finding a swap in for the same thing, because of course, if the habit is there about Friday night, Saturday night, I will watch Netflix or I will sit and do something. So how about doing finding a swap in for that? And then once the swap-in is there, then there can be 2 kind of people, and that's what are the last 2 strategy the author talks about. One is ease in, which means some people can take it, start with slow. So if they're a big drinker, maybe they can start with a small discipline of, okay, I will take only a small peg, maybe just 1 peg. Or the ease in is, okay, I will start with, from there I'll move to Coke or Sprite, and then I'll move to eventually some better drink. So this is a ease in. But there can be some people who have very good why power plus willpower, and they can think about jumping. Means immediately I will stop it. So from there I'll either completely know my trigger, I know what people, when, where, I'll completely stop all of them. So it can be what, when, where, who, everything I'll stop, and then I can make my habit. But it depends on person to person. So that is what are the 5 different habits which can help to, or strategy to eliminate bad habits. So I just use an example, but it can be for anything. It can be even for reading. It can be for any other habit we have. So that is what we need to think about and start slowly and eventually instilling it and knowing it, and then eventually come out of that bad habit. So I think that's all I want to share. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. The way Amar explained about it, right? Okay, I can see Shruti has raised a hand. So Shruti, over to you, please.
Yeah, hi, good evening, all. And thanks to Reading Nation for this community, because it's creating the compound effect for reading, right? So that's really brilliant. But for this community, we wouldn't have read this book. So I definitely want to extend my gratitude to this community. Secondly, I just started reading the book. So as I said, Akash, until last week, I had not read the book, but thanks to Suchitra for, double clicking that this book should be read. And I am glad that this book is continuing, right? So I just started reading the book, and what it me drives to is one simple line. And of course, it's bolded in the book as well. Small and smart efforts, consistency and time creates radical difference. And that's so true. If I try to correlate to some of the smaller instances, even in the kitchen, right? Like couple of years back, cooking was like, oh my God, it's such a big task. Who will do the cooking? It's mom's job. It's kind of that. Then mom बोलती है बेटा 2 रोटी बेल लो आ जाएगी रोटी. No, 2 रोटी करके रोज 2 रोटी बेलेंगे, 10वें दिन 10 रोटी बेल जाती है actually. So it's again the compound effect, right? So I mean, I think we are following such things in life, and wherever we have followed in life regularly, things that we do regularly does have compound effect. And author has really beautifully insisted on how habits help individuals, right? And quoting his example, the discipline that his father probably instilled in him. So as a child, he was probably only following whatever his dad did, but then when he grew up, he realizes and he's able to correlate that how much importance it has brought back into his life, and he has been able to be successful at such an early age. And we often see quite a lot of these movies, right? Inspiring movies where we see sports person kind of putting in so much of effort, somebody who has not been into a level where they are actually believed to be, they are able to go there with consistent small efforts. And the main thing is the dedication and not losing on the track. And we see this every time in life in multiple instances. I think with this book I might start focusing on that more, and that's how I'm looking at it. Actually, it is helping me recollect so many instances. Like even when our kids say prayers, right? Sanskrit is pretty difficult to by heart, but the moment they start saying it every day, after a couple of days they are smooth on saying it, the same word. They don't even have to do the sandhi vichhed or the word split actually. So this book is really helping me recollect smaller things in life. It is taking me back to the past. Okay, where am I today? How is it that I am here today? No, where am I today, and what should I do to take me to another level? So this is a brilliant book, and definitely I will target to finish it, though started late. Thank you.
Absolutely, Suchitra. Shruti, so many things in this we are able to correlate. In fact, when writer is talking about his father was very strict, and when I read, I remember my father that time, because we come a traditional, family, right? And I don't know whether I shared you or not till 10th, in fact 11, 12, before I went for engineering. In fact, couple of years till engineering, I never used to sit in front of my father. Sitting means if he is talking, I have to stand. That was the traditional in a family, that the elders are talking, so you cannot sit in front of them, right? And eventually, probably he enabled us to, okay, sit, talk, because when he realized that now kids are becoming bigger and he has to become a friend to them, right? And that's the way it start happening. Otherwise, it's I have seen my father, he used to, stand and talk in front of his father, my grandfather, right? So of course, so many things to learn from this book, and those habit what you're talking about, the very wonderful example of roti ka belna is the habit, right? And that's exactly everywhere. If you do prayer, if you do any kind of if you read some kind of slok, you remember first time, second time is a tough, but it's become a habit, right? Now you don't require to refer the whatever the Gita, whatever you read it in your life, right? Great, wonderful. I can see the Peru has raised the hands. Over to you, Peru. Wonderful. Looking forward to hear from you.
Yeah. Thank you, Akash, and thanks for this Reading Nation. It is making me read every week. So last week I read about the Wall. Like the book was saying that Lance Armstrong in Tour de France competition, he was there is some 8 rounds we have to go through: swimming, cycling, and it was speaking about climbing up the mountain. And so in the climbing the mountain, that's the last round, and that is where most of the people lose all their energy, and that is where they had to so when he was climbing the mountain, he was 32 seconds behind the leaders. Even though 32 seconds is a small number, but after 7 rounds, in the 8th round, when they have to climb that mountain, 32 seconds is a big number. So that was his first Tour de France victory, where he was 32 seconds. 30 seconds less than the leaders, and then he started cycling hard in the last 2 minutes, I think, and which went him to become the first in Tour de France. That was like hit the wall. Only after you hit the wall, your character actually comes up. That's what the book was saying. I did not have, in reality, I did not have situations like Lance Armstrong. But in the company, whenever they give any new work, most of the time, whatever work is given to me is completely new that no one has done in the team, and I have to figure out how to do it. So obviously, in the first 1 or 2 days, I won't have even a path of how to get this executed. But since that work has given to me, instead of saying that I am not sure how to do this, I keep researching more and then finally come up with the way. That was the only thing I was able to correlate when I read this hit the wall thing. And another thing the book was saying was take little extra. The book was giving, for example, for weight loss, if you have to do this many reps, that the trainer is telling you to do X amount of reps, do X plus 5 reps. That was the thing they were saying, take a little extra. And he was also mentioning that he used to do a lot of sales calls, and those calls were not really going good. But if he doesn't continue the calls, he won't find the customer after the one bad call that he had. So you have to keep continuing and do that little extra so that you achieve your goals. For me, the little extra is taking out time to read the book. So somehow I take time to read 5 pages at least every day. So I do that little extra. In that way, I'm doing the little extra to build my leadership capabilities. And the last thing the book was saying was do the unexpected. Like the book was saying that a lot of people give cards for Christmas, but the author used to give cards for Thanksgiving also, which very few expected. What I did in this New Year, during the New Year Eve, I used to, a lot of people just send Happy New Year messages. So I called every person who messaged me Happy New Year, and then I wished them. That was a thing I was able to correlate when I read this thing of giving cards for Thanksgiving instead of Christmas. Those are a couple of learnings. And even one more thing, that when I read this, other thing that we do is we have to wish people on birthday by calling rather than just sending a message, or wishing people on anniversary by calling them rather than just sending a message. That would also be unexpected for a lot of people if they are not our close relatives or our close friends. So, but we still know them. So if we call them, they would be really happy. That was like another thing I correlated. Thank you. Mm.
All right, wonderful, very nice. Absolutely. You're reminding when I do plank in 30 second, I put in alarm in my the watch or and the mobile, and then after 30 seconds I think about, okay, another 30 second and another 30 second, and the third 30 second is really tough, right? You would think about 30 second only, but you are 10 second you're down because already you've passed 1 minute, 1 minute and 10 seconds. So absolutely, so go beyond. Okay, very nice, wonderful, good. So let's do one thing before we go ahead and talk about it. Is anybody want to share? Else I would like to, some of the new faces I can see, I would like you to probably say hello to everybody. You have to excuse me if you are coming here and somehow I could not able to recognize you, but that's fine. But you can go ahead and introduce yourself. Who want to go?
I go. Right.
Yeah, sure. Most welcome. Very happy to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks, Akash, for giving the opportunity, and thanks for the Readingnation. It's a very great to know the famous books. Yeah, the compound effect book really I felt so good. I just started. I couldn't able to complete the first chapter, but the moment when I started, it is really so interesting. As one of the speaker already explained, how his childhood life, how he grew, how his father. As you said, we definitely correlate with our fathers, how we were there, but not that effective. But we have a fear, but not the person who multiplied his money at the age of 16, 17. He became some amount of, he started earning. It is made me really so interested. And another thing, I'm good at starting some of my goals, but I never consistency. I never continued that. After a few the few period of time, see that is not getting any results, so used to give up. But the author emphasized, he says smart choices and consistency and time. It is give you the radical difference. And he has given some examples also. It made me so really impressive. So now I taken one decision. If something which I taken any goal, though I might not see any result, I would like to continue. Let know whether irrespective of the result, let I want to continue the journey. Maybe at one, as the author emphasized, over the period of time, definitely it will pay off. And also he insists that if you're not good at something, try to be a bit harder and work smart. It is, I couldn't have complete the chapter, but he explains so well the magic penny and the ripple effect. The ripple effect is really, it took three people, how their neighbors, their friends, one person is based on every day his activity, reading the personal development books, upskilling himself, how he goes ladder in his career. The other person is so fascinating his cooking, and after that cooking he keep eating, and how he become sluggish and he couldn't focus his personal development. It creates within the family, his wife, and problems between wife and him, and the other person without doing anything continues at the same level. It is so impressive. I really know this book. I would like to complete it. Thank you for really introducing this book.
Absolutely. Thank you, Srini. Thank you, Srini, for talking about it. You are right, because sometimes what happens, we start a goal and we give up, or we got some other priority, and that is the reason community like this will help you. Because if you're committed, every Saturday you have to come here for 5 o'clock and you say, hey, I'll come here, learn and also speak. Somehow your mind will say, boss, what do you speak? Read something, na? And that will create, and slowly, like many of us were talking about, right, that we are reading and reading. That compound effect is, we could able to last year, we could able to finish 10 books, correct? All right, good, wonderful. Who else want to go ahead? If you are not speaking, go ahead and introduce yourself. If for first time, I would request you, I think I see Arun is here first time. Arun, go ahead, say hello to everybody. And Mono as well, Manu as well.
Yeah, hi Akash, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, hello Akash, hello everyone, good evening. So I think like this is not the first time. So I mean, September 2021. So I have joined in Reading Nation. So I also like read the book Start with Why along with you people. So after that, like I took some time. I took some break actually. Then like I haven't actually participating after the sessions. So today, like I'm just joining back. I just like ordered the book today. From the next session onwards, like I will try to share my thoughts in this book. Yeah, thanks.
Very nice. Sure. Arun, we would like to hear from you.
Hey, hi, this is Arun. So I joined last week Ghana as well, and I just started with the book and going for the chapter 2. So I went through the same book like 4 years before. So when I was going through the finance related book, something like Psychology of Money and Money in the Zone, that time the book felt okay flat because it talks about compound effect in a like 150 pages. But after 4 years, with the maturity, the book feels different, like with the relationship kind of and with the health wise, the book feels different. So once I complete, I think the next week I will share something.
Sure. Arun, where are you? And, what do you do? Why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, so I'm from Bangalore and software engineer. So I work for Asian Labs. So previously I was working with Arvind.
Very nice. Wonderful. Good. Anybody else we have?
I think there was Arpita and Manjulan, but they
Okay.
got dropped off.
Okay, no worries. Good. You would like to go ahead?
Yeah. So, I'll continue from where Srinivas left, Srinivas talked about, he starts something, but then, he misses out, the consistency part, So there is this thing in the chapter called Momentum, where the author gives a very good example of a hand pump, Now, some of you might not know what a hand pump is, but, most of us would know, hopefully, that, what a hand pump is, wherein you just pump the lever with full force, and you do it like 10, 15, 20, 30 times, and till then the water is not coming. So you sometimes have a doubt also that will the water even come, has the well gone dry, and will it come, am I putting wrong effort, am I not pressing hard, all kinds of questions come. But we know that because we would have seen the previous person filling buckets full of water, so we would know that the water will come. And then if at that point, when you're at that peak momentum, and if you get that doubt, and then what happens, you stop pumping, and then what happens, whatever water had come till up will go back, and you're back to square one. But now that you know that water will come, then what do? You just pump it. Even if it is not coming, you have a faith that it will come, and so you keep pumping it, right? I'm sure many of us would have seen different images about someone gets to know that there is a field of diamonds in this field, and you have to dig the gold and or dig the diamonds, so they dig it, but then after few meters of digging, they lose the hope, or they feel that I think it's not there, and then they sell that land to someone else, and that person digs it like 1 meter, and they find diamond mine there, so that is nothing but consistency, so just doing it with, of course, blind doing it blindly in the wrong direction will not help you, but you can always employ some expertise, you can always do some maths, you can always have some expert opinions, and do that effort with a more focused effort and consistent effort, so that pumping or the digging, I'm sure now Srinivas, for sure you'll remember it next time, any one of us, because it's natural to start something and not continue with it, because life happens all the time. But once we have these kind of examples in the mind, we generally don't go wrong, and we don't think of quitting something. So that was one example which I thought of talking about. And the second thing I thought of talking about is from this chapter about being influenced. No matter what work we do, whatever, like Shruti talked about making fulkas or rotis, or handling a boardroom debate, or it can be anything, whatever task we do, a lot of influence actually comes depending on the kind of association you have, and it is very important because association or thought process development can happen from many channels. It can be from the TV, it can be from the phone, from Facebook, from neighbors, from elderly people, different sources. We get information all the time, good, bad, ugly, positive, negative, all varieties, but it is only up to us how we want to really get influenced with that information. Like a few days ago, I had posted one thing in my social media handles. Okay, how is corona spreading? Okay, I mean, don't take the serious part of it, but the funny part of it is like from TV to the brain, more than outside, it's the inside. So from the TV it's getting spread in the mind that there is so much. I mean, not the current situation, but in general I'm saying that is how influence works, so in a good way or in a bad way. So the one thing that the author recommends us all to do is, keep negating it with more positive information, because negative is automatic. I was talking to somebody in the afternoon and I was telling her the same thing. I have few pots in my balcony, where I really have to put the effort to keep the plants intact, but the weed, God only knows where it comes from. We live on ninth floor, but the weeds find the way even in those small pots, without any effort. So negative is always automatic, isn't it? But if I have to really nourish, that flower plant, I really have to put the effort of taking the weed out of the plant. The weed is coming on its own on the ninth floor also. So what the author basically talks about is your momentum can really get affected if you get influenced with a negative thought or a negative association. So being consistent, like the entire gist of this book is about being consistent, right? And that is what the author talks about, that you have to continuously put yourself to perform and keep your mindfulness of your association and keep negating it with more positive. So he gives an example of a glass full of dirty water. So how do you get rid of the dirty water or the dirty thoughts or the troublesome thoughts? How do you get rid of it? If you pour more water, which is clean, eventually that dirty water will get diluted, and finally the glass is left with cleaner water. So similarly, the thoughts also, whatever is bothering you, whatever is influencing you in a negative way, you have to keep adding positive. Slowly, surely, you will be able to, deroot it and throw it out of your system. And he also talks about, like, I was just reading something the other day, and it just flashed to me, like Sachin Tendulkar, for example, when he lost his father, I think in 1999, he flew from England to Bombay, did whatever was required, and within 2 days he was back in the net. So that's how champions are made, like Dhruv was talking about, or even Beru talked about. So the last lap is always something which takes the juice out of your body, I mean, mentally, physically, everywhere. But that's what championship is all about, because that is why the person is called a champion, because he knows how to win over the last 2 seconds, 5 seconds, last 1 second, or last few milliseconds, how to win over, because by then it's not the body game. Body is already exhausted and finished. It's only the mind game. So that is why the last lap and the last few seconds is always the tough, but the one who wins is the one who is a champion. And that is why they are champion, because they have not overcome just physically, but also in the mind. So that is what influence is all about. Influence is about programming your mind to perform till the last minute and beyond. And that is why most of the winners, if you see, they don't just cross the finish line and stop. They run really a long distance, because they are in that big momentum, and where they have actually won over their mind, where they have actually won over their mental game than the physical game. So that is what influence does. So it's very important what kind of influence we create for ourselves, our children, our environment at home. Everything matters, because every small thing that we learn from each of these associations will help you dilute that negative energy, will help you dilute that negative thought, will help you dilute that negative feeling, for people or for things, and that's how a more positive environment is created up here, because of every small association that we become a part of. So I think that is all I wanted to talk about.
Great. So continue what Silpa was talking about. So you understand the compound, the book name itself is The Compound Effect, right? Right. What it says is that compound will work only over the period of time, right? And that's the reason I want to really talk a little bit of my flavor about escalation, right? Where he's talking about hit the wall. If you look at, if you have made a certain goals for this year, every day you are hitting the wall. Every day. If your goal is to fit yourself, to look at yourself, if you are on a weight loss journey, or if you are on wanted to reduce your weight, or if you're a person who wanted to wake up every day and do the exercise, right, or read a book, or do any kind of things, right, or for the matter anything you're doing, right, what happens is that every morning you have a choice. Okay, no, yaar, aaj thoda thanda hai, right? And mind will always give you excuses, different excuses. No. Tomorrow I will definitely wake up, right? Right.
Especially when you are inside the quilt,
Yeah.
it's always warm inside than outside.
Yeah. So actually you are hitting the wall, correct? And true character is showing right there. Is that, are you going to give up? Are you going to say no? Or you are saying that no, let me wake up quickly and just splash some water on my face, or let me finish the brush or something like that, which can make me awake, right? It is just fraction of a second which making you to bring your true character within you, or bringing you true outside, right? So हम क्या कर रहे हैं उस time पे? Am I making a decision कि नहीं आज छोड़ देते हैं कल से, or am I making going beyond the wall, right? The hit the wall concept, right? And making sure that no, may what come, I have to do the exercise, right? Look at a couple of examples. Look at recent movie which got about a couple, they were 83, right? The team is saying only 150 ban jayega to hum jeet jayenge 200, but he is going beyond the boundary line, right? Or if you have seen the movie called Gold, correct, where if you look at the hit the wall is that when Sardarji said, okay, nahi khilana hai, main jata hu, right? But one point of time he returned back because he hit the wall and he realized that if I leave today, there is no point, correct? Or the person who was the another captain or vice captain, right? He hit the wall about what he should do. He should continue with his ego and all the concept, or he should leave the ego over there and say, hey, come play that because you matter, right? Or a team matter, or winning matter, right? So hit the wall concept will apply day to day in our life. Whatever the action we are taking, whatever the choices we are making at that particular moment, what I am deciding to do, right? And then another concept is talking about cheat concept, where you hit the wall and then every single step you're doing it is multiplying with you. So if I am doing a probably let's suppose I'm doing a muscle building exercise, and if my exercise is 10, every 11th and 12th and 13th and 14th I'm doing extra, it is tearing my muscle, but I've hit the wall. And my character, what happened, it is compounding, it is multiplying. And that is the reason percentage game to understand in mathematics, it play 100 rupees of 10% is just 10 rupees. But the same 100 rupees of 101 rupees, just 1 rupee, what happened? It's not a 10 rupees. It's again a fraction of second, fraction of little amount, right? And if 1,000 rupees of 10% is 100 rupees, because it's multiply of those many. I hope you understand the concept, right? So the compound effect or hit the wall concept, a true character is coming, is that when I'm hitting the last boundary, last lap, right? What I'm doing, am I quitting? Am I saying no, or I'm going beyond my boundary and ready to push through that, right? So learning from this book, what is helping us is that those things what Amar was talking about, what is those trigger point? And when I know these are my trigger point, if I've identified those trigger point, I can change that trigger point by applying these principle of hitting the wall, because the trigger point is my hit the wall. Or Suchitra was talking about, or so everybody was talking about those pointers, right? So if I know that what I need to do, if I know what I need to avoid, at a point of time when I'm absolutely in the last level, when I'm hit the wall, right? Those learning will come up, right? The swapping concept will come up, the triggering concept will come up, right? And that's where you'll be able to make a decision. So it's a fundamental, fantastic book, right? We also read it, not to read it about and take some time, sit down alone and think about it, that how I can implement these characters in my own life, and how I can build those habits, because these habits, when you start building small choices, start doing it right over the period of time, what happened, the compound is working on that, and that's where you'll able to achieve growth. So remember guys, it's a January 15th only, not end of 2022, right? The way we were excited on January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, just 12 more days has gone. That's all. So equal excitement, equal our goals is matter, because still 11 months and 15 days is remaining. Right? So I hope I make sense to you a little bit what I wanted to add my flavor, and anybody want to talk about it, anybody want to say it, anyway we are with the time, but please go ahead and you can add your
Akash, I just observed that while you were talking that your t-shirt also has compound effect. Then now and forever.
Yeah, I purposefully wore it today. Finally, I wore shirt, but when I read it, I realized why not, right? So.
Good one, actually.
Good. Anything else, guys? Anybody else want to say something? Vikash, you're there, yeah? You want to say something, Vikash? Would like to hear from you.
This is really a wonderful session. I really learned a lot. Everyone, including our little master, everyone has performed really well. And I'm looking forward to participate from next week. Somehow I missed it. So it is my bad, actually. Somehow I forget. I think last time you said you would be.
Yeah, it's my mistake, because I have to create a small group of WhatsApp. But are you not added in our Telegram group? Looks like I missed it.
I am not actually. I rarely check the Telegram, so
yeah.
maybe midweek, if a reminder comes, then somehow we will again realign and start our reading something.
Sure.
I just remember at 4 o'clock that I should have read one chapter and present it, so it is too late to start. But however, it's really good, and I learned a lot from each of you, and I'm looking forward. Thank you. Thank you for.
I see one more name, Karthike Takkar. You want to say hello to everybody?
Yeah. Hey guys.
Good to start your video.
I'm just joined from phone and.
Okay. No worries. I understand you are not positioned. That's okay.
Yeah. I was just outside. I came. Yeah. I have just attended one session before, and it was a very nice session. And today also I just missed the beginning of it, but the last moments that I have heard, the Shilpa, Akash, that was very nice. The compound effect, and that it takes just a fraction of second, to bring out the best character out of yourself. That was very nice. Yeah.
Great. Who invited you, Karthik?
Piru.
Good. All right, guys. So we are on time. I don't want to take your time, but it is great. Keep reading this book. We still have 2 weeks, and I'm damn sure everybody will be able to finish. Remember, we have extended this book 1 month just because everybody wanted, and I really wanted you to read the book because this is one of the best books to start the year with, right? So read the book, and we will see you next week, right? Make sure you go and comment. I have already input the link to the Facebook. Guys, we have to increase our numbers, and also we have to bring bring more people have a benefit about it, right? So I've already pinged. I'm again pinging you the link. Go ahead, put your comment in Facebook. It's a Facebook page. It's called Start Reading India, and it really helps us. Let's help more and more people, right? So I ping them. Take 2 minutes. Go and put your comment. What's your learn about? What are you excited about the Readingnation? And then we'll see you next week. Take care of yourself. Make sure you stay home, stay safe, and keep reading.
Stay positive and test negative.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.